Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Battlefront 2 podcast. And today we have a very special guest. We have Battlefront Knight here. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So you're also known as Quinn Knight in the community as well. So maybe right off the bat, we'll kind of get to what everybody's thinking. So how did you enter the community, and how did you make your transition from Call of Duty to Star Wars Battlefront?
Well, it's June? So 2 years ago, I was, if anybody plays like Black Ops 3 Zombies, that was like huge for a couple of summers, just like streaming that. And my channel blew up the summer of 2017 on that channel, and it went from like, I don't know, 30K to 300K over that summer. And I don't know, like Call of Duty is just something that's very like up and down as far as like views go and everything, because I mean every year Call of Duty comes out and people like it at first and then it crash and burns pretty quickly.
For sure.
So anyways, I just kind of, I wouldn't say I saw the writing on the wall, but I wasn't about that life of having to rely on something that's so volatile. And I played the first Battlefront a lot, not the 2005 one, but the 2015 Battlefront, and I really loved that game. So I was like, maybe I'll start a Battlefront channel just for fun. And then I did, and the first thing to really kind of get off the ground were those hero guides. And I mean, yeah, I just kind of, it really wasn't much of like, I think a lot of people ask me, like, was it a big decision to switch, or why didn't I just make that channel into a Battlefront channel?
That's what I'm wondering,
my
honestly.
original channel. But I just didn't want to, and I felt confident enough that I could just, and also I didn't really want to, the thing is, like, if you transition a channel, if you ever want to go back and do what you were doing before, you kind of can't. And I knew Call of Duty something where I still like when Black Ops 4 came out, I came back for a couple of months and streamed, and it went really well. But then again, Black Ops 4 crashed and burned because it's Activision, and they can be worse than EA, quite frankly. So that game only lasted like 2 months. So, I might just dip back into that channel occasionally. So I didn't want to just kind of override it with something completely different. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't a big decision like a lot of people think. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm going to do this. If it works out, great. If not, that's fine too. And it worked out. And it was a rocky road at first, to be honest. But I kind of changed my channel, I would say, at least personally, I feel that way in the last year. To where, I don't know, my channel's completely different than it was a year and a half ago or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. You kind of got a little bit of criticism at first.
Yeah, a little bit would be I don't even know if that'd be an understatement. I think it'd be just a bold-faced lie if we left it at a little bit. Yeah, I definitely got some heat at first, especially like the first couple of months, and it was deserved. It was just a weird thing where, like, when you get criticism for the first time on YouTube, you get very like defensive. I mean, I know you reached out to me about doing the podcast during that time, and I really wasn't about it, because at that time I was just like, I don't know, just kind of shut myself off from everything. But I came from the Call of Duty community, where I think the thing I got the most heat for was like the mod stuff, where I'd make a video about a mod and then it wouldn't say it was a mod till the end.
Sure.
But I mean, and this is not an excuse or saying it was right, but just in the Call of Duty community, that is just how it worked. Like if you streamed a mod map, you didn't say it was a mod, you just streamed the mod map, and nobody cared, because that's what everybody did and still does to this day, because I'm still friends with a lot of those guys. So honestly, when I started getting like a huge wave of criticism at first, I was like very defensive about it and didn't really think it was me. And then eventually I realized, like, okay, if this many people are not happy about it, I'm probably doing something wrong and should change it. And I don't know, like, if you make YouTube videos and you don't feel good about what you're doing, it just makes the whole process unfun. So yeah, I mean, that's why I don't really bait anymore or make mod videos or really anything, because it's not worth it. I don't need to, and I want to feel good about the videos I'm making.
For sure. So yeah, you've I certainly have noticed the difference in videos that have come out. A lot more hero guides, a lot more news, and it is pretty interesting to see how much the community doesn't forget. Though when your name comes up from time to time, you see that kind of it's still kind of being painted.
I mean,
with
I'm
that
sure
brush.
on the forums, but I mean on YouTube itself, I really don't see any of that anymore. I guess like on the forums or whatever. I mean, that's something where, yeah, I mean, it's the nucleus of the community, and you know, I won't say the criticism was wrong because it certainly wasn't. But I mean, at this point, there's nothing I can do except just have changed and continue on with what I'm doing. I can't. You can't undo mistakes on YouTube. It's just it's there, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. At this point, there's nothing I can do except say I messed up at first. I changed the way I do my channel, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wish I could start my channel a little differently because mostly because I didn't really need to make those mod videos at all to grow. I mean, those hero guides were what really kickstart the channel in the first place, were all the hero guides I did. Like, those are still like my most viewed videos on the channel. So I wish I just hadn't made those mod videos at all because yeah, I didn't really need to. But at this point, I mean, what can you do? I mean,
Would you
nothing.
say? Oh, sorry. No.
No,
for
go ahead. That was it.
No, I was. What I was going to get at was, do you think that being someone that has multiple successful YouTube channels, I understand that your Call of Duty channel and the Battlefront channel aren't the only channels that you operate. So, do you think you had a bit of a following that maybe joined you from other channels and or anything like that, or do you think that's
No. I mean, like, the account I started the Battlefront channel on, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I think if I remember correctly, I don't think I ever even shouted that channel out at all. Like, whenever I tweet out on my Call of Duty channel, people are like, or because I don't really post on the Call of Duty channel all that much anymore because I just don't have time. But whenever I do anything on there or tweet about it or just tweet on that channel at all, people are like, "Oh, you're alive." Because I didn't really cross promote at all because I didn't want to do that, really. I wanted to just, I mean, I just kind of wanted to build another channel up, and I didn't think I needed to cross promote, and I've done that with pretty much every channel. I try to avoid that as much as possible. I mean, just for my own, I don't know, I guess I don't know why, I don't really know why I do it. I didn't want to, I mean, I guess you could say, like, oh, you had a following before, but if I didn't use it to push my new channel, I mean, what does my other following do for me? And also, I think people vastly overestimate how many people will follow you to a new venture. It just doesn't happen. Like, if Battlefront Updates all of a sudden decided he was going to start I don't know, what's something
channel.
out of left field? A cooking channel, yes. I mean, maybe like 500 people would go sub to it, but he would have to. You can't build a channel based on the merits of your current channel. You have to build another channel on its own merits. You know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure.
and unless you're someone like PewDiePie, and not, I don't even mean by numbers. I just mean like the way they've built their following, where people are just interested in whatever you do. You can't just build a channel based on the merits of your other channel. Like, you have to prove yourself as whatever. Because yeah, like PewDiePie, I don't really think you can build a channel like that anymore, or at least it's much more difficult than it was in like 2009 YouTube to build a channel where you just do whatever you want, like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye.
Absolutely.
Because there's just so much on YouTube. How are you going to stand out if you're just doing a mishmash of everything? I wish I could have a channel like Donkey or somebody like that, but
you just
I don't
have
know.
to
It's
have more
unrealistic.
of a like, your niche has to be so specific. Now you can't just have a general channel, like, where you can just say I'm a general gaming channel. Like, for instance, if I were to go tomorrow and not stream Star Wars Battlefront and stream Mario Kart, I'm gonna have like 2 viewers versus I might usually have 15. And it's just
I see YouTubers in this community and in other communities that like get mad at their viewers because they don't watch them stream other games, and it's like, what do you expect? They didn't sub to you for Mario Kart. They didn't sub to you for this or that. They subbed to you for Battlefront. That's what they're going to watch. I mean, I get that it's frustrating where you feel pigeonholed, but that's when you start another channel. You don't just expect your Battlefront channel to get a bunch of views about a completely different game. Because you have to think how you work as a viewer. If you sub to someone to watch, I don't know what's like if you sub to someone because you love their movie reviews, and then tomorrow they come out with a video reviewing an AR-15, you're gonna be like, what the hell's this? I didn't subscribe to watch gun reviews. I don't know. I just know that's how I work as a viewer for the most part. So I wouldn't expect anyone to watch me if I started doing vlogs or something like that.
Nope, makes sense. Who is your favorite Battlefront YouTubers? Do you watch a lot of Battlefront YouTubers?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't really watch Battlefront, like, and this isn't like a slight on Battlefront content at all. It's just with any channel I've done, once you start doing it, you tend not to watch content on the same thing because you spend so much of your time already wrapped up in it. But I guess if I was, as far as like opinions go, I think Fire Guy. He's someone that, while he is negative more than most, I don't think he just comes up with negative things to rant about for a video. Like, most of his criticisms are valid. Maybe I should watch more Battlefront. I tend to, if I'm going to put something on in the background, like maybe like those funny moment videos sometimes are fun. I think Django Fett, I think is his name. Yep. He has like the best ones that I've seen. Also, I just like love that like seismic charge sound. I don't know, it's like one of the coolest things in Star Wars, so he got that down with his intro. But I guess I don't really watch too many Battlefront channels. I'm more of like a long form content kind of person. Like, I like to sit down and listen to something like Red Letter Media, like an hour-long video, just put it on in the background. So yeah, sorry for the non-answer.
No, it's all good. Yeah, because I guess I kind of had a small follow-up question. Was, do you ever catch yourself comparing yourself to other Battlefront YouTubers?
In what way?
Well, it's your hero guides, for example. Have you ever looked at anyone else's hero guides to see how they're making theirs?
No, not hero guide specifically. Definitely not. Just because I do my hero guides a certain way, and when it comes to anything with YouTube, if you start watching how other people do theirs, you're gonna like subconsciously change yours.
Okay.
And I don't want to do that. I like the way I do mine. I think they're, I think the truth of the matter is like a hero guide. I think you can still get something out of a hero guide if you are like a player that plays all the time. Like somebody who's online 24/7. I feel like I play too much, quite frankly. But then I'll go on like Anarchy. Well, there's a better answer. Favorite Battlefront YouTubers. I'll sometimes put on one of his streams, Anarchy Ninja.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an answer for you. Just because, like I said, I just like something I can put on in the background, and also he is incredibly good at the game. Versus like, again, this is not a slight, but I feel like most Battlefront YouTubers, like the people that just make videos, are not that great at the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're fine, but like Anarchy's a really, really, really good player and a streamer. You know what I mean? Which is like, he's really like the only one that I can think of that's. Would you agree with that? That's like a really like top level player and also a streamer that pulls decent views.
No, I agree. I think the thing about being a good streamer, and it's where I fall short, is a good mix of being good at the game and being good with the chat. And I think he does a pretty good mix of that.
Yeah, I would agree. Which, if you wanted to like join the Battlefront community, like if you're like somebody wanting to be a YouTuber, I would actually say that's the biggest opening, is just a entertaining streamer that's also decent at the game. Because, yeah, I think that's like the biggest opening right now, because that would just be my thought if anybody's like thinking like I'd like to do Battlefront videos. I just don't think there's enough streamers to fill the hours of the day. and what people would want to watch. What question were we on? We had another question. You asked a question that was a follow-up. Oh, do I compare myself?
Yes.
Right? I mean, in any other ways, or just the hero guides?
No, just I meant specifically to watching a certain type of video or a certain maybe mindset that a Battlefront YouTuber might have, and kind of say, I kind of like that. I might implement something similar in my videos. Do you ever catch yourself doing that?
No, I think other than like quality, like, you know, I not quality as in terms of like the script or anything, but just quality in terms of like gameplay being 1080p and, you know, trying to up that kind of thing. I've been working on, you know, it's something where it's like when you get used to your equipment, you tend not to upgrade because you're just used to it. But I've been trying to force myself out of that habit. But other than that, no. I mean, I look at views a lot for sure. Just, you know, it's hard not to compare yourself in that way, even though you really shouldn't. But other than that, no, I don't really. I like to just kind of stick to my corner.
What are your thoughts on the kill streak niche that's kind of booming a little bit as players competing for what they call world record kill streaks?
Well, that I mean, that ties in nicely to what we were saying about live streamers, because there are a ton of amazing players that post videos on YouTube, or, you know, maybe they stream too, but they don't pull like the 400 plus viewers, you know. And that's what I'm saying, where like there's not many actual YouTubers that post like commentary videos that are also like one of those insane kill streak people that I watch some of their videos. And, you know, I will admit, like, because this is something I strive to do in my videos for background gameplay, is I will play until I get a really good background gameplay to put, because I mean, nobody wants to watch arcade footage. That is so boring. Like, if you put that in the background of your video, people will just scroll to find the news that they want to hear from the title and then click off. But if you actually get a good kill streak and put it in the background, people are invested in the video. So, you know, sometimes I watch those kill streak videos and it's like, man, I wish I'd gotten to lobbies like that consistently. You know what I mean? Like, the people with the world records are great players, without a doubt. But when you're getting 200 kills in a game, you're in one of those lobbies where it's like, what are these players doing? I find, in more than any other game, in more than Call of Duty, in more than Overwatch, in more than any other game, consistently, I will be playing HVV or Galactic Assault, and I either on my team or on the other team, and it's just like, what are you doing right now? Like in HVV, when the target system was there, have you ever had this happen? And I have it happen every game, so if you say no, you have to be lying to me. Where you are 1v4ing the entire team for like 5 minutes straight, and none of your teammates show up. It's like,
I've seen that.
What could they possibly be doing? I get so mad. I get so mad. This game grinds my gears, HVV in particular, more than any other game ever has. Oof. I'm being bad at answering questions. I think kill streaks are fun to watch. And I can see where it'd get annoying to grind all day to beat like a world record and then somebody else to clean it up the next day.
Are you aware of the Quinn Knight face reveal memes?
You know, I saw this in the notes you sent me before. Not really. Is it just me saying, this is my face reveal, the reveal of my face? Is that it?
I think it's just around the redundancy with that.
You know what's funny is that video, like the face reveal video on my channel, is just a re-upload of my original face reveal from my Call of Duty channel. Because like I was I mean, if you go on my Q Knight Z channel, it's there too. It's from like 2015. Even when I uploaded it was like 2 years old. Just because I was like super busy and I was like, oh, I need to put up a video, face reveal. But I was not aware of it, except for I guess I've seen it a couple times. I mean, people are right. I didn't need to say that. I mean, a face reveal is indeed a reveal of your face. I know that's a shocker. So I can see where that would become a meme. Yeah, I don't blame anyone for memeing me up on that. No.
I did see recently one of the larger YouTubers that got demonetized did a voice reveal to kind of talk about it, and they said this is my voice reveal, a reveal of my voice, and that's kind of
shit.
So I think,
oh man, it's spreading. I suppose that's a good segue into the demonetization.
Yeah, for sure. Has that ever worried you?
I mean, I saw it. Well, here's the thing. So it was Swanee, and then a few of the Funny Moments channels. Which ones got
There was
demonetized?
Jongo Fett, Some Lucky Boy, and Silky. So three.
Oh, so all of them, or all the big ones at least.
Yeah, like the ones that people are really tuning into for sure. And Swanee doesn't really know why, but it's probably because of his Red Dead Redemption Funny Moments
Well,
videos.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It didn't worry me, no, because I mean, if something did happen to the Battlefront channel, which I mean, it wouldn't, because I don't make those type of videos. I mean, unless they change policies again, and we're like, I don't know. I mean, something drastic would have to happen. But no, it didn't worry me, because the channels that got demonetized shouldn't have got demonetized. But if you know how stupid YouTube is, it was really easy to see why. I mean, because I'm sure maybe you didn't hear about this, but like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, YouTube came out with like a huge sweeping policy change, where if pretty much all of those funny moment type of channels that were just montage channels got demonetized. So once that happened, I was really confused why Swanee was saying he was confused why he got demonetized, because it's like, I mean, you have to know. He should not have been demonetized, but if you know how stupid YouTube is, you just take 2 seconds and look at his front page where his biggest videos are Red Dead Redemption Funny Moments, and you know damn well YouTube didn't actually take the time to look at his channel. They just saw, oh, his 5 biggest videos are all funny moments. That must just be his entire channel demonetized. And that's on YouTube. And then those other channels, again, YouTube probably didn't watch their videos and see that they're highly edited. They just saw, oh, funny moments, they're stealing clips, demonetized. YouTube doesn't, when it comes to like sweeping policy changes, YouTube doesn't care about the person. They only look at your titles and thumbnails, make a general decision, and if you're a channel that's, you know, under 100K or whatever, or I mean, honestly, probably even like larger than that, I mean, they probably just are like, okay, this person doesn't have a big enough voice where we need to worry about retaliation, so just whatever, throw them under the rug with the rest. And as from what I understand, a lot of them got their monetization back, which is good to hear.
Yes, I do believe that at least Silky and Swanee have, and I'm not 100% sure on the others. But yeah, I think it's just looking at, I think they're targeting more like the compilations that are basically like, let's say we're talking about sports, and it was like baseball, the top home runs of 2018. All they're doing is taking clips from a sports broadcaster and without editing them, just putting them all in a row so that they get, you know, a couple 100,000 views every time they do it. And they're not using their own clips. They're just and they're not editing the clips at all. They're just basically just throwing them all in very low effort. But
yeah, and why should you profit off of that? But like, if the other 2 channels, Silky and what's the other one, Some Lucky Boy, if they're anything like John Goffet's videos, I mean, that is transformative. You know what I mean? Like, they're putting enough work into that where I don't think they should be demonetized, and I hope they get their monetization back, all 3 of them, or I know one of them has. But I will say, it probably would be smart to start trying to steer your channel in a different direction, because I feel like YouTube's only going to get more strict with this sort of thing. Because YouTube is just one big gray area in terms of like using content. Like, there's never been a platform before for people to just use other people's, you know, property and monetize it. You know what I mean? Like, there was never something like YouTube before, and now that it's getting so big, you're starting to see like Warner Brothers, and I mean, just the other day on one of my other channels, Warner Brothers claimed one of our videos for like a 5-second clip, because even these big companies are seeing like, okay, this is turning into something where people are making a lot of money. Let's try to profit off this ourselves. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like, it's smart to just build a channel around yourself, and I don't know. I would just be worried to have one of those channels in general. And from seeing as they're remonetizing them, they have time to try to shift their content. Not that they need to, but it's just something I would probably still be worried about happening again.
No, absolutely. I think that as time goes on, that I'd have to say by 2025, the rules around copyright use is going to drastically change, and these clips where you edit 10 seconds of footage and throw, voice lines from movies or music is going to be, they're going to be really strict on that, I think. So I think I agree with you that it'd be wise to try to steer yourself in a direction where you're making content that is more centered around your own gameplay, your own voice, your own
exactly. And I think that Silky Dude already is making a good move by sticking himself into the videos, because the issue is if you do get fully demonetized with and YouTube is like, we are not remonetizing you with this type of content, you need to shift your content. If you then start uploading commentary videos, people will riot. I mean, because that's not what they subscribed for. That's unfortunate, but it's just the truth.
Absolutely.
They subscribe for the funny moments, and for the most part, they might care about you being monetized because they want you to keep making those type of videos. But if you start making out of left field videos, your views are just gonna hit rock bottom, unfortunately. So yeah, I hope they get remonetized. I'm glad Swanee got remonetized, because Swanee, that's what's scary about it more than anything, is they just took one look at his channel, saw his 10 or whatever most popular videos, and made a sweeping decision. That's what's scary, and that's why everyone just needs to be careful after seeing this.
Yeah, and he just recently quit his job, so it's kind of shocking to see that he makes the decision to go full-time YouTube, and within a month or two he's demonetized and in big trouble. But if there's some positive that comes from it, he grew a lot on Twitch, got a lot of support, worked really hard, and got it back. So unfortunately he lost all of his, I think he said over 17 million views worth of videos on his channel, so that hurts him in the search department, I would think. So that's kind of unfortunate.
I've always wondered what would happen if you clear out a big section of your videos. If YouTube, nobody knows how the algorithm works, so it's scary to think if you delete 10 million of your most viewed videos, does YouTube kick your channel down in the algorithm, or do they not care?
Well, I think what Silky said in our podcast was that it's people that are binge watching, and it's constantly suggesting other videos, that you're missing out on that kind of watch time, because they don't have as much to choose from of your content before it starts to suggest someone else's, I think is what he had said. Which is an interesting thing to think about.
I'm not sure which videos they all deleted, because I would imagine those Red Dead funny moments weren't. They probably weren't getting a ton of views at this point anyways, because that was a flash in the pan, Red Dead Redemption, as far as YouTube goes. It was big for 2 months, and then, you know what I mean.
I think he still said he was making a couple $100s a month off of it in ad revenue, so...
I'm sure. I'm just saying it probably wasn't, pushing his Battlefront videos all that much, because...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because it's a completely different game that was just kind of a flash in the pan, and the only people that were seeing them were people that were just getting the game now and wanting to watch Red Dead Redemption 2 content.
Nope, I agree.
I would think.
So I was thinking maybe we might switch gears here and talk a little bit about the game specifically. I kind of ask, because I've kind of taken a break from Battlefront 2. I've been playing a lot of Battlefront 2015 just to kind of fill that void. But how long do you think this game's going to last, and how do you think it's going to end?
I don't know. I don't really have any idea, because there was a certain... people that watched my channel religiously have probably noticed there have been multiple times I've just disappeared off the face of the planet from my channel for a month, just because I got too busy on other stuff. And then one reason I'm bringing this up is, in one circumstance was, I would say when was the Clone Wars revealed? June or July?
Last year, yeah.
So about a year ago. Before that happened, like April, May, I was convinced like we were gonna get Grievous pushed out, maybe Obi-Wan, and that was it. I mean, that at that point I was like, because I mean, honestly, the whole like first few months of this game is just still like baffling to me how EA let, like, after the huge, like, I don't know, it's just their whole like plan here just was so backwards that like the first few months of the game is when is most important, is when they just did nothing. You know, they had their skeleton crew working on fixing the, and not saying they did nothing, but nothing flashy to get new people to play. I mean, that would have been the time to like send a whole team in to fix this game quick and get it back on the right track. But instead it took 6 months, and then what, 8 months until we got the Clone Wars reveal. So I thought it was just going to be dead then. But then we got the announcement of Grievous and Obi-Wan and Anakin and Dooku. And I remember I was in Texas at the time when they announced that, and I was just like, are you kidding me right now? We have to wait another, what, 4 months until the first hero after that? It was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I was like, okay, so then that's it. But then Obi-Wan and Grievous came out back-to-back, and that was great. And then Geonosis came out, which I like, but isn't one of my favorite maps, to be honest. And then haven't really had anything big, but they've continued constant support. And then they announced Felucia and Droidekas, and I mean, at this point, Ventress and Ahsoka are pretty much a sure thing. I mean, if they didn't come, I'd be shocked at this point. I don't know. Like, when do they pull the plug? I'm shocked they haven't yet, and I'm glad they haven't. But it's like they're not making any money, or they're making very little money from this game, which I realize there's a big portion of the Battlefront community that is younger and doesn't get this. But if there's not like a viable, you know, financial like system for this game, EA is just gonna not let DICE support it at some point. And the scary thing is, I think the game has enough goodwill at this point that EA knows if they pull the plug after Felucia, people will buy Battlefront 3. I think the reason they supported it up to this point is because they knew if they didn't, they'd damage the franchise so much the next installment wouldn't sell very well.
It's an interesting take. I think EA, I think it's going to be, we're going to wake up one day in the news, the hammer's just going to fall, and it's just going to be, we're no longer supporting this game, and that's it. That's kind of the sad reality.
So?
Well,
I think that will be the case behind the scenes. I don't think they would ever come out and say we're done supporting this game. I think we'll get our last update, not know it, and then all of a sudden Battlefront 3 will get announced, and then it's like, oh, okay. I just don't think they'd come out and say that. I think that'd be like suicide for the game.
Well, the only reason I think right now that if Battlefront 3 was in development already, then that option makes sense. But if they're just going to announce in 2022 we're going to have Battlefront 3, we're going to support this game for the next year and then not support it, I don't know. I don't think that makes sense either. Unless it's already in development, which it's hard to say with Fallen Order. Like, I can't see them developing Battlefront 3 right now.
No. I mean, I guess if I was going to take a guess, and this is literally just a guess, I would say that we get Felucia, we get 2 more heroes, maybe we probably will get like a set of skins for Episode 9, maybe a map, but I doubt it. I would guess it's a set of skins. And then I think we'll still get our monthly updates, but it'll just be, you know, patches and fixes, maybe some events. Everyone in the community is still going to be saying, like, or hoping, like, oh, they'll do this, they'll do that. And then, you know, in a year down the line, next summer, you know, because the next gen consoles are coming out, we'll get a tease for Battlefront 3, and that'll be it. I mean, Battlefront 2015 just kind of got left on life support after DLC 4. You know, they still did double credit events and stuff, but, or was it double? Did they do double credit? Double XP, whatever.
Double XP, yeah.
You know, I just don't think, I think it'd be stupid for them to come out and say, see ya, suckers, we're done supporting this game. Because if they don't say that, then people will still have hope and cling on to it, even if there is nothing coming.
Well, I wonder if the Fallen Order is going to kind of put Battlefront in the backseat, and then they're going to kind of slowly just kind of.
I think Fallen Order is going to be a flash in the pan, to be honest. You know, the Battlefront 2 campaign, you played it once, that was it. I think Fallen Order, it'll be fun to play through once. You know, there might be a couple weeks worth of content, and that's just going to be it. I mean, I think it looks fine. I'm not blown away, but single player games never or very rarely last very long as far as like building a community goes.
Yeah, it's like something like Skyrim's really the last big one that comes to mind for me personally that I played, like Fallout, some of the Fallout games. It's tough to. That's just the way things are now. It's multiplayer. It's like,
yeah, but Fallout isn't linear. You know, this is a linear story where, at least from what we can see, there's only going to be so many ways to play. You know, you're going to play the story once, and then unless there is more to the game we don't know about, I don't see it doing much to Battlefront 2. Yeah, I mean, multiplayer, you are right, where multiplayer is the way to go right now as far as building a long-term community.
Yeah, because Battlefront announced the campaign was going to be continued tomorrow. That would not make people very happy, I don't think. So, to have a single player...
You mean for Battlefront 2?
For Battlefront
in addition?
2, yeah.
Oof. No. If they waste time making another... like, I mean, if they added like a Clone Wars campaign or something, I mean, it would be cool, and I think people would be like, "Oh, that's so cool." But at the same time, it's like, do you really want them putting months of dev time into a little, you know, like
5 to 10 hour gameplay?
Well, how long was the Battlefront 2 campaign DLC? Like an hour and a half, if that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they spent 3 months of dev time polishing something like that when they could be like building new heroes and stuff that you could get hours and hours and hours of enjoyment out of. No, I think you're right. Like, where people might have a good reaction at first, but once we get nothing else for months, people will be like, "Oh shit, here we go again."
Nope, definitely some good points there for sure. Why do you think this Droideka community update's more viewed than Grievous and other Clone Wars updates?
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was just looking at that this morning, how it has... I mean, it makes sense why it would have more than like the Han Solo DLC.
Absolutely.
Because there was like no hype for that. But I was shocked to see it had more than Grievous and Anakin. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just they've built up hype for the game over the last few months, and then it is something that there's like notoriety around because of the whole Crash Speeder thing. So now that they're actually adding it, people are flocking to it. There's more of a community. I know that my news update video last night, which had nothing special about it, it was just like talking about like a Luke buff and literally nothing special, got like way more views than usual for no reason I can understand. I think it's just because people watched that Droideka video and so many people have watched it. There's like a little like bubble of Battlefront viewers right now that are waiting for that update. I don't know. I
think it flows towards the fact that Star Wars in general, like, I feel like a Star Wars fan would be interested to see how droidekas are depicted in a video game.
But, absolutely. But when people are like... Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, what I was going to say is I don't see how that would make it better than Grievous, because they would feel the same way about Grievous as well, I would think. So that's kind of why. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is that the Grievous update was in October, and the Droideka one's in the summer when the school kids are all out of school. That's the only thing I can really think of.
That's certainly a factor. You know, what I was going to say is just when people will like take a screenshot of like a Battlefield community update and a Battlefront one and be like, wow, it's insane this has more views. It's like, yeah, no shit, it's Star Wars. You know? Like, Star Wars fans in general are watching that too. Like, that is the only reason people stuck with this game, is because it's Star Wars. If it was just your generic shooter, not saying, I mean, I love the game, but if it was just your generic shooter that was released the way it was, it would have instantly died. I mean, that's just the truth. People wouldn't have stuck with it if it wasn't set in the world of Star Wars. That's what's special about the game.
Yeah, some people sometimes refer to the online multiplayer Battlefront as something like a Call of Duty with a Star Wars skin. That's kind of what some people say, that the notoriety is just from being Star Wars and getting to play as heroes, villains, etc. is kind of where Battlefront gets its... because it doesn't necessarily have outstanding gameplay when you compare it to Battlefield, Call of Duty, and things like that. So,
I mean, I don't know at this point. I've just played it so much, but certainly a huge part of the enjoyment is from the fact that it's set in the Star Wars universe. I do think at this point it is a good game, just on its own merits. But what I'm saying is, if it didn't have that Star Wars skin, people wouldn't have stuck with it when it came out. Because when the game came out, it was a mess. People would have forgot about it by the next month. But since it was Star Wars, you have that certain amount of people that are just going to stick with it no matter what, like myself, and I assume you. And now that they've turned it around, more casual Star Wars fans are coming back.
Would you use the word trending, as Dennis has recently used, to describe Battlefront 2?
I mean, it's certainly trending upwards overall as far as player base goes. I don't know if you'd call it like a hot topic overall. It's not like burning the gaming world down. It's just it's certainly trending upward in terms of players and everything, because now any Star Wars fan can jump on and enjoy it because it's actually a good game, not just the I don't know. I mean, just imagine coming to this game in like March when the explosive shot glitch was active.
Right.
If you're a casual Star Wars fan, you jump online, say fuck this after 2 minutes, and not touch it again until someone told you, no, dude, it's great now. Like, the game was such a mess that it drove so many people away, other than the diehards of the diehards.
Well, and the loot boxes was just nonsense.
Yeah, and people are right where that, I mean, EA tried to damage control that, but it didn't work because there's just too many articles talking about it, and it is kind of ridiculous the reputation the game still has when you consider that when the game actually went live, those loot boxes weren't even there anymore, or at least you couldn't buy them. But it is what it is. I mean, when you come up with a system that is that predatory, I guess you got to pay the piper, even if they didn't get to profit from it. I don't know how they thought that was a good idea in the first place. I mean, it was so... oof.
Well, just relying on random chance to build your character is extremely strange. And even the duplicates were, like, you'd open a crate with 5 things in it, and they'd all be duplicates, and you'd pay 4,000 credits for it, and you'd get 1,000 back. Like,
I mean, I would have been fine with, like... I mean, I'm generally fine with, like, some RNG if the system was the way it was, but you actually got a decent amount of crafting parts as well. It would have still been a stupid system, but it at least would have been manageable. But when this game came out, it was like, what, 480 crafting parts for one epic star card? And you would get like 20 out of each crate? I mean, it would take you like weeks of playing for each epic star card. It's like, who thought anybody was going to deal with that? I would think with that system, if they never changed it, I probably still want to have epic star cards for all the heroes. I mean, it was that slow.
Have you ever put any real money into Battlefront 2, other than to buy the game?
I bought a bunch of pre-order skins to give away, but I didn't buy any of the, like, crystals or whatever they were.
The crystals.
I mean, that was the other thing, too, is you could spend $100 on crystals and you still wouldn't get very much.
Right.
Like, that was what was so ridiculous. Like, I think they were just trying to prey on, like, the 1% of the 1% who are complete morons who have no sense of, like, money management and would just drop thousands of dollars because they want something now. Because anybody with half a brain that even liked microtransactions would drop $20 of real money and realize they got nothing out of it and never touch it again. Like, to actually get something meaningful out of buying those crystals, you would have had to spend $1,000. Like,
Absolutely.
oh, I don't know what they were thinking with that. I mean, it's so far away. It almost feels like it was a different game.
Yeah, and I mean, Fortnite ended up having something similar. I know you didn't pay for the game, but a friend of mine said, and I'll do the conversion in my head here, somewhere around 350 USD that he's put into his son's Fortnite game. So I mean, there are ways.
I mean, my friend Avery, he's a Fortnite streamer. He's spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on the game, but those are just cosmetics. You can't buy anything to like up your damage on your weapon or something like that.
Exactly.
Which I think was the point of contention. Like, if they actually had a decent, like when this game came out, if they had actually put some time into making a ton of skins that you had to buy with real money, they could have made so much money and people still would have bought the game. And I think that at this point they realized that they were morons. I mean, you have to think they do, right? Like,
Oh, for sure.
just imagine if they had like a dozen Luke skins, a dozen skins for every hero, and like half of them you could grind out and half of them were exclusive behind a paywall. Some people wouldn't have been happy about it, but there wouldn't have been outrage. People would have bought the game and happy with how much there is to actually do in terms of progressing and the skins you could work to unlock. And there'd be certain skins people would have, and they'd drop $20 for them. Because some people can't control themselves when it comes to microtransactions.
Yeah, and I just think that now the way things are, the updates are so far spread out that people always have the credits available to buy new skins when they come out. Is kind of the so when a new skin comes out, people that are actively playing the game that would pay have enough credits. So what's the point, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. The whole system's backwards. Like, you want a system where the diehards, the people that really love the game and play it all the time, have a reason to spend money on the game. Instead, they have a system where anyone who actually is playing the game a lot and would spend money on it has so many credits they have no reason to. So it's like, when it comes to like actually thinking systems out, they get a D-.
All right, so I'm gonna go into my last little. It's almost like a little exercise here. So I'm gonna give you 5 things, and I want you to put them in order that DICE should prioritize the following in terms of most important to least important. So we have star cards / progression, weapons with more specifically towards blasters, game modes, maps, and heroes as they pertain to Battlefront 2.
Okay. Well, I should clarify my number 1 is because this is how I spend 90% of my time in game. I mean, I'm putting heroes at number 1. 90% of the time I'm playing Battlefront 2, I'm playing as a hero. And heroes add the most to the game for me, personally. So heroes are number 1. And I understand people that say we got 4 heroes in a row. I want blasters. That's fine. I would rather have new heroes. 2... Oof. And the only one that's actually significantly above the rest would be heroes. I mean, I would say game modes if it wasn't like a Hero Starfighters kind of game mode or Ewok Hunt that, while fun, I played once or maybe 7 times and never touched again.
I haven't played Hero Starfighter since the day it was released.
Yeah, I mean, that, like, Extraction I love, but what benefit is there to a new game mode if they rush it out with 2 maps, one that's reused, and never do anything with it again? I mean, that adds so little value to the game. I mean, I love Extraction, but I never play it anymore because there's 2 maps. So for second, I'm gonna say blasters. I think I would like some new blasters. I pretty much used I use the NT242 for the sniper class. I use the A280 for assault. I use the SC44C for officer and the heavy. I use the TL50. I usually just use the same blaster for each class. So I'd love something to experiment with. And also, there's just not very many in general. 3, I'm gonna say star cards and progression. I know that's gonna be people aren't gonna agree over maps, but I'm assuming you mean like actually making health regen passive and stuff.
Yeah, and like having new abilities that you're going up to level 1,000 now. Like, why not get a new star card for every 100 levels
That would be
you
awesome.
try out?
That would be awesome because I'm of the opinion that the new progression system was completely useless. Um, like adding it to 1,000 with nothing you ever unlock, like who cares? So if they actually added some unlockables that you actually had to really grind for, like new abilities, that'd be pretty amazing, actually. So yeah, I put that at 3. 4 maps, I guess. I mean, the issue with maps in this game is they add a new map and you play it once in a blue moon. Um, like when they released Geonosis and the same day it came out, they added a map rotation where you couldn't play Geonosis. That was a 5,000 IQ play by Dice. So yeah, I guess maps at 4, even though I would love new locations. Like if they could actually do like playlists where you could play it whenever you want, great. But I mean, I play Geonosis 5% of the time. So and then what's left?
Game
Did I
modes.
say game modes? Yeah, I guess game modes 5, unless it's actually something they really put some time into. In which case, I'd put it at number 2. But I assume any new game modes we get are going to be kind of.
Jetpack
They're
cargo.
not going to replace Galactic Assault for me.
No, I agree. I personally don't enjoy capital supremacy very much. I think it takes way too long, but
I totally agree. I mean, I don't. I get why people like it, but when I sit down. Well, also, you barely get any credits, and B, it's like, I want to play as the other heroes. I don't want to be limited to 4, and I don't want to potentially get into a match that I'm going to get 20 minutes into and realize, okay, this isn't ending anytime soon and leave, which is what happens most of the time for me, because I can't play for an hour and a half in one match. So I agree. I mean, Capital Supremacy, it's fun, but it didn't replace Galactic Assault for me. I prefer that. I have more heroes to mess around with.
yeah, I like the 15-minute game. Like,
Yeah,
a 15-minute game is good, but these hour and a half are just crazy. It's
I
just
agree.
nuts to think about. But you did mention something that made me think of a point when you're talking about limiting heroes and just some of the blunders that Dice has made. One that kind of flew under the radar was the when Dooku came out, and the weekend of, they had era specific heroes, so you could only use Dooku during
I
prequel maps, and only when you're on that side. So it's like, when do you ever get to use Dooku?
Yeah, I very much remember that because I was trying to make a hero guide at the time, and it's like, oh, can't play as the man. It's stuff like that. I've said it in my videos a million times, but I should just make like a top 100 5,000 IQ plays by Dice, because it's like all the time they come out, they do things where it's just like, did you think about that for even 5 minutes? Like, they do so many good things, and then there's these little things where you're just like, oof, I don't know. I'll get riled up. Let's not get into that.
All right, I got one last question for you. If you were ever approached by EA to be a game changer, would you do it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have anything against it, but I'll say, just as I went to a lot of Call of Duty events for the zombies and stuff, and in general, as far as like for your career goes, it's almost never. I don't know. Almost every time I went to those events, I came back and I was like, man, I did not get enough out of that to justify taking 5 days off of work, because that's what ends up happening. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'd like to be a little more active in the community in general, but it's certainly nothing yeah, I mean, it doesn't keep me up at night. Maybe, I guess.
No, that's good. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll try to fire this podcast out pretty quickly, and hopefully should be out sometime middle of the week. But thanks for taking an hour of your time out to join us, and I think you really clarified some things that might have some people thinking differently of you moving forward. So it was good of you to come on and do that and talk a little bit about Battlefront and its future.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Problem, man. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.